And we should be live here in just a second. Hi, everybody. Hold on just a minute. We're figuring out a few things here on this end, trying to bring up the chat and everything like that. Hold on. There we go. Mute it. And we are live on YouTube. Yay! We made it.
Always a struggle. Okay.
Yeah, and everybody make sure that you are on live chat and not top chat. And Spirit is messing with my daggone camera already. This is going to be a good night.
We always
guys,
have to.
Yeah, guys, if you don't, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you don't know, whenever Marta and I get together and do anything, we have technology issues. And we like drain batteries and kill phones and cameras and everything else. And I'm going to say hi as a few people start coming in. I see Witch of the North. Erin is here. What did she say? Hello, Scottish Saren. Hello, my dear. How are you doing? We've got Magic Mammoth UK here. Michael S. Nalea. Hello, 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 everyone. Come on in. Get you a seat. Grab a snack. Get a drink. And we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. Wait for a few things. Share this out on your social media if you don't mind. Thank you. What did she say? Tweet it out to your peeps. Stacy, hello. Stacy's in from Louisiana. Thank you for coming in. So, Marta, we finally got it together between my scheduling and technology issues and everything else. We've been working on this forever, guys. And right before we were going to do this, Marta's computer blew up, had to put a new hard drive in it and the whole 9 yards. So, but we're finally up and running.
Nothing stops us. We keep going. We're used to it. So it just builds up a lot of energy and we wipe things out. So.
And Haley here, first timer, welcome. Welcome to the Witch's Cauldron, everybody. Lucy C, hello. Everybody's coming in. Thank you so much. Guys, I am so excited. Like I said, Marta and I have been trying to work this live stream out for a long time. Marta and I have known each other for many years now, long time. And I will tell you this, that Marta is the most gifted medium that I have ever come across. And she is not only a medium, she is the lady that I go to when I need answers. And even when I don't want answers, she pops right into my energy and she'll send me a text message and say, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop that." You know better.
Paula's soul rats her out. Paula's soul rats her out. And then her soul comes and visits me and I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And about by the third day, I'm going, la, la, I don't want to hear it. Then I'll text her. What are you doing?
So, and every once in a while, Marta's mom pops into me. And then I'm like, Marta, what's going on? Your mom's ratting on you. You're not taking care of yourself. What's up? So, and Marta is so special to me because it wasn't long after that I met her that I broke my leg and I broke my tib fib. And Marta, while I was doped up on Percocets for weeks, Marta helped shield me and keep me safe when I was not physically and mentally able to do it myself. And that's what kind of a beautiful person that Marta is. When I want answers about stuff, Marta's the one that I go to. And she has even helped some people. Those of you who have been around for a while know Uber Goober, that I live stream with over on D Live. She helped Uber tap into her powers and learn how to control her empath abilities so that she didn't drive herself crazy. So, Marta, welcome. Finally,
I know, right? Hello,
isn't it wonderful?
everyone. All you beautiful souls. Hopefully, we'll make
Marta,
it through here without something crashing.
oh, I'm knocking on wood right now because we're having like storms here and everything else. So we've got some more people in here. We've got Seven Crystal Lee in here, Stacy, Haley. Um, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna. I can't say the name. Uber's here modding the chat for me. Thank you, everyone. Biracial Root Witch, hello, welcome in. Marta, tell us a little bit about you. Like when did you first realize that you had abilities?
Well, the first time that I saw I had my first experience, I was about 5. And I had fallen out of my bed, and my brother heard me, and he came to get me. We had adjoining bathrooms, and he asked me if I was all right, and he asked me if I wanted to sleep in his room, and I was like, yeah, because he had 2 twin beds. So he tucked me in. I was 5. He tucked me in, and he went over and laid in his little bed, and then I thought he was standing still beside the bed I was laying in. And because it was a full apparition, it looked just like my brother. He was wearing brown plaid pajamas. And I asked him, are you standing beside the bed? And he said, no. So I just kind of reached, and my hand went through it. But it didn't scare me. It didn't scare me at all. I'm like, okay. But what I remember the most is, of course, the brown plaid pajamas. But behind him was the universe. I could see all the stars and Milky Ways, but I didn't find out till
Oh no, we're roboting. Are you there, Marta?
as soon as I mentioned brown plaid pajamas. Can you hear me?
Now I can. You were roboting. It's already starting.
Oh God. So maybe he's here. So as soon as I mentioned it to my mom and mentioned the brown plaid pajamas, she said that was Papa, which was her grandfather. Therefore, it was my great grandfather. And he had passed away about 4 years prior to my first experience. But they will always come in and say something or show something where the sitter, that's the person receiving, recognizes. She knew it right off. That's all he ever wore were brown plaid pajamas. He had like 3 or 4 pair. So she knew exactly who it was. And plus, they can come in at any
Right.
age too that they think fit. So you have to remember that when you're doing readings or if you're receiving a message, that when someone is describing somebody, oh, he's about 27, but I feel like he's a grandfather figure, start thinking about pictures you have, of him,
Right.
or certain clothing items, a ring, a watch. So they don't always come in the same age as that they pass. Even if you're a young toddler and they pass, they can come in, he's number 27 again, they can come in at any age. So you have to
Right.
remember that. But personality, traits, I had one, a mother came in and she always pursed her lips when she spoke. So the lady, Sharon, knew exactly who I was talking about. And
Yeah.
her mother passed away at 65, and she came in her 20s. But because I said she keeps pursing her lips, she knew exactly who I was talking about.
Yeah,
So
because they can come in, sometimes like depending on the mood. My, great aunt Rose that hangs out by my china closet all the time, she'll come in her like antebellum kind of when she first got married in the mid 1800s kind of thing. And then sometimes she'll pop in as, the older Aunt Rose with the gray hair and the bun and stuff like that. So, um, spirit can come in, and it's just how it's sometimes hard to put the pieces together and find what, if you're doing a reading for someone, to find what clicks with them to validate it in their mind. So sometimes, spirit has to kind of find their way to give you some things that will validate who they are to the person you're reading for.
yes,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Let
Yeah,
me
they
ask you
know.
some. Yeah,
Okay.
uh, do you have like a particular kind of anything special that you do? Like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't able to shield myself. Do you have like a particular meditation or charm or talisman, something that you wear to kind of protect your energy around you, or do you just leave it to your guides and guardians?
Um, this is weird. As you know, I'm a healer first and a
Mm-hmm.
medium second. And the two go together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's say when you call me, want me to give you a reading, you're not going to get a reading right then, and you might not get it the second day. But what I do is I actually, it's kind of like testing your water, testing the water. I really kind of go on the outside of their aura and just kind of feel for any tears. I know if you're going through any emotions or if you're angry, or if you're good, because I will actually tell you before I give you a reading if I pick up anything. I have a list of about 2 or 3 things I request that you do prior to me entering your space, only because I want it cleared out for me.
Right.
There's a couple of times that I have jumped right in there, even not even giving them a reading. They're talking to me about giving them a reading. And I'm an empath, and it's almost like I get a bad taste in my mouth. There's an expression, that's what I get. And I'm, I throw up that shield like, in a New York second. You never can be too careful, but I do test the waters, or like I said, I just let them talk to me a little. Either it's via chat, text message, whatever. I can pick it up in about the third or fourth word, without even seeing them or being on the phone with them if something's off. And I won't even touch you. I won't even entertain it.
Yeah.
Um, and then a lot of them are like, yeah, I did it, Marta. Remember, I'm a psychic. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I can still feel it. And I'm not going to jeopardize my health, because it does affect your health, um,
Mm-hmm.
for a reading. So it's up to the sitter how, if you want this reading or not. Or like I believe I sent Paula one. This is when she was doing her paranormal, and this lady was bad. I mean, like, do you remember her, Paula? This
Mm-hmm.
one, gosh, I forget the demon's name or whatever, but um, yeah, she was really, really bad. I just had one a month ago, and it was a woman. Her gifts weren't unfolding, But they get excited about being introduced to the spiritual world. I didn't introduce her, but she found me, and she was a member of all these groups on Facebook, and she was telling me her husband started channeling. But what it was, something was channeling through the husband, but me just talking to her about 5 minutes, whatever was channeling through the husband was not good.
Yeah.
It was bad, bad, bad. So immediately, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Um,
You know,
a question from the chat is LaDonna asked, I have never experienced paranormal to my knowledge or like spirit. Is it possible that a family member put some kind of a shield on her?
does she mean as far as protection?
LaDonna, do you mean protection, or because some people can put like a shield around you, and your guides and guardians can put shields around you.
Okay.
Hey, Fiery Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
LaDonna. Your loved ones, unless you're an old soul, when loved ones pass, if you're a really old soul, they'll just take off, and go to the other side. Where if they're not, they will, for the most part, stay, especially during the mourning process.
Mm-hmm.
I know my mom comes in now and then just to check on me, say hi, but I feel her protection around me sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely. And some family members will stay behind. They won't cross. You can cross whenever you want. But yes, the answer to your question is yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, and you guys, if you've been around me and my channel for very long, and what I've done with Uber, like on paranormal nights and stuff, where we've discussed it, a lot of things about the paranormal. You routinely see orbs flying behind me, and stuff, and that's my family. And there was one night we were talking to someone, and about a demonic attachment, and I was trying to say that I was going to put her in contact with someone who could help. And you could hear something trying to bang on my siding outside, trying to get in. And you saw the orbs right behind me. You know, my old familiar Sydney was at the patio door. You could see his tail wagging, and they were there. They're like, no, you're not coming in. No, it's not, you're not getting past this. So they can definitely throw up shields around you so that nothing untoward happens to you and stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
let's see.
Absolutely.
Uh,
LaDonna,
now,
LaDonna, I don't do angels. That's not my specialty. I do have a lady that does speak to the angels, unless, of course, Paula, that she strictly can tell you 3 to 5 names of the angels that are with you. I don't
yeah,
specialize in angels, but I can leave the name and give it to you, and you can contact her online. She's a great lady, and she speaks directly to the angels. She's clear
great.
audio. She can hear them. She can hear them. But nothing wrong with the angels. Goodness, no. But I don't specialize in that. So,
Right.
but I can give you a lady that does. Her name is Sue Storm. Great lady. Hey, who else?
And let's see here. Um,
What's that?
let's
Interviews
talk
the
about,
room.
yeah. Um,
Um,
Uber just
yeah,
asked if you are thinking of
yeah,
a loved one and hear them in your mind.
yes,
That was a
yes.
really
And you
good
know what
question.
else? Yeah, that's a great one. Also, a lot of people receive smells. That's called
Mm-hmm.
clairfragrance. Um, so maybe a cologne or somebody that drank um, a lot of coffee, like the same great grandfather I talked with, the plaid pajamas. I was doing a reading one night, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody put this hot, steaming cup of coffee underneath my nose, but I could tell that they used a lot of sugar, a lot of sugar. And I told my mom about it, and she said that was Papa. He always put 4 or 5 cubes of sugar in his coffee. So, yes, if they just come to your mind, or maybe something pops up in a book or on a billboard or on TV that's in reference to this person you're thinking about, that's confirmation. Look for these
Mm-hmm.
little signs because they are there. I mean, like, oh my gosh, my grandmother, loved this movie. And you had just thought about her 2 days before because she popped in your head. That's your confirmation. Look at it as a confirmation. Absolutely.
Haley Haley asked, could a paranormal experience that happened over 30 years ago still be affecting them?
Yes.
I was going to say
Now,
one short word. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Paula.
Um, it can depend on what type of energy it is. It can be something that's just kind of there and not really any harm to you, but they can also, have, like, you could have an attachment. So it all depends on the situation, what happened, and stuff like that. Um, Azrael says, do you think they communicate through dreams? I dream about my papa grandpa every night.
Yes, I agree. Yes, dreams.
Yeah.
In fact, that is usually after someone passes, that is usually the first, other than a smell. My mom hung around for a while. And if Paula was still doing her paranormal, I would have flew her to me because that was the biggest haunting that night I have ever had with my
I,
mom.
I remember you telling me
Oh my
that.
God. It was
Rocker
it was
Chick, thank you
crazy.
so much. Rocker Chick, thank you so much for the super sticker. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Fiery Phoenix say, can loved ones appear in a dream to let you know they are okay?
Yes. And that's usually the first connection you get with them is in a dream. Said they can't stay behind before they cross over. I said you'll get a smell, again,
Yeah.
favorite fragrance. My mom was a smoker, and when she died, she went to all my sisters' houses and smoked it up because they didn't smoke. So she was just doing that to be a stinker. But
Well, and talking about moms
absolutely,
being,
it will be.
yeah, and Uber says, my bathroom light shuts off and I say, stop it, mom, but she never turns it back on. I just hear her giggling. And, that happens a lot. Snow Leopard says sometimes they get a smelling salts whiff. With me, I hear the click of a Zippo and I smell the very distinct smell of Salem menthol cigarettes. And I know that that's my dad, so
See, yeah, pipe
Uber.
tobacco, cigars. Yeah,
Hmm.
the coffee with all the sugar in it. Again, they are going to bring in something that you connect with. That you like the brown plaid pajamas or the cigarette smoke. Everybody knew that was my mom.
Hmm.
Um, the sweet coffee,
Hmm.
and just like Paula mentioned, the menthol cigarette. It is
Yep.
something you can resonate with. That
Uber says,
that's them.
yeah, Uber asked, how long could it take for a loved one to come to you after passing? Because a lot of people, are like, we're 2 months out. I haven't gotten any signs, this, that, and the other. And, I always tell
Okay,
people it's like, depends on because when you go and you cross, you can be there in your like little debriefing for a while, and they're not going to come back and visit during that time. But if they are still hanging around, you can have an experience almost immediately. Like my sister, within hours of my granddad's death, saw him at the top of the stairs at the farmhouse because he was coming back to make sure that everybody was okay. So, Marta,
Yeah,
what's
it
your opinion on it?
depends. Yeah, it's on a few different factors. For those of you who do not believe in reincarnation, I'm not saying this to insult you, but I believe in it. So it depends on how old of a soul you are. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost Uber's question. Let me find it again. Oh, and also if you are really, really mourning this individual, usually they'll stay behind. They stay behind for us to comfort us. And some of us are mourning so hard, we don't feel that hand on our shoulder or pick up that smell. But in some instances, we're kind of holding them back. Some
Mm-hmm.
will linger on forever. I gave a reading to a friend of mine, Jackie, and her mom stayed with me for 6 weeks. It's
Mm-hmm.
She was sitting in the back seat of my car. I felt like her chauffeur. She rode around with me wherever I went. So it depends on what level they are at. Um, on the other side, where you're at. Some people, once you kind of let up the mourning, it kind of releases them. I guess that's just a figment of speech, but
Mm-hmm.
where they, where you're a little more clear headed, a little more calm, a little more open. But they do have a process on the other side. And again, if your mourning is holding them back, then it might be a while. So it might be right off, or it might be a while. I've had people pass and they come in and I start giving a message within the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Where this other girl, it was 6 weeks it took me to bring her in for the reading because she didn't know she passed.
Right.
She was a residual. And so she was still trying to check in the hotel. Her and her boyfriend were going out of town for a rodeo. And she was asleep in the passenger side, and he was driving. It was a 2-lane and oncoming truck crossed over. And the boyfriend, of course, steered away, jerked, and then they ran off the road and hit this huge tree, and both of them were ejected, and they both died of head traumas. She didn't know she had passed. He did, but she didn't. But I couldn't figure out why I could not bring her in. The only images I received was her hitting a little death bell, and I kept getting a sense of a hotel. And I never asked her mom. And then finally, it took 6 weeks, and I tried at least 3 or 4 times a day. But when you're a residual spirit, you keep moving forward. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
continue what you were doing. And she didn't know she had passed. So I'm probably getting off the whole beaten path. So it just
No.
depends. It all depends on the situation, the level that, like I'm an old soul. I think I've had 8 past lives. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or you can be a new soul. They said usually the newer souls are like, like actresses or
Mm-hmm.
singers, a center of those are usually your newer souls, are those.
Well, and
And they're,
along that line, Uber asked, I know that if souls are young and they haven't finished their path, they have to come back and do a do-over, a redo. But do they
Mm,
still can they still come back like to visit before they have their do-over incarnation?
yes, that's how I
Yeah,
receive messages. That's how I receive messages is before they come back. They're on the other
right.
side, you know.
And
Now in Paula's situation, when she used to do the paranormal, those are usually spirits that haven't passed for whatever reason, a residual, a lot of spirits that are really bad, like serial killers, rapists, so forth. They won't cross because they believe in
no, because
judgment day.
yeah,
Yeah, and they believe there is actually a purgatory. Catholics call it a purgatory, and it's a holding area for the darker spirits, but they'll stay behind too.
hmm
And you got to remember, if you're really big into astral traveling, just remember
hmm
those are out there too.
yeah,
Just saying. Just
yeah, they
saying.
are. They
Be
are,
careful.
and you have to
Don't
be
play with
very,
what
very
you don't
careful.
know. Yeah. Don't
Um,
play with what you don't know. Really don't.
um, yeah, and Moss Wings had asked earlier, or stated earlier, I have had several experiences with spirit, but I don't know any of the people. I feel like they followed me for protection, but they are not people I know or family that I know. And that
I
could
guess
be, you know, your guides, your guardians being around you in a protective manner. It can also be older ancestors, like great grandparents that you would have never known. My great grand uh, Aunt Rose back here was alive in the 1860s. I never found her and didn't even know who she was until I found her wedding picture in an old photo album that I found after my sister died. So, you know, you can kind of see that. And somebody just commented that they see the happy birthday sign back there behind
oh,
you, and today was their brother's birthday. Um,
oh, that's my granddaughter's.
I
We
was
had
gonna
her
say that's
birthday's on the 15th. But happy birthday.
yeah,
You're more than
and
welcome to it. Happy birthday. Um, this is for
and
Moss Wings and that question you just
mhm.
was answering. I just want to piggyback on you a little. Moss Wings, based on how you worded this, you do have the gift. That's correct. You can see them since you can't recognize them.
And Azrael 7 said, I tried to work with a serial killer spirit once and got tricked. It
Um,
wasn't devastating, but it could have been bad. And, you know, when you first started out the live stream today, Marta, you said that, you know, when you feel somebody's energy and it's off, you just completely disengage, shut down, shield, everything. I was doing a reading for a friend who wanted me to contact like the biological father of her adopted child, and she did not tell me that the man was had been a serial killer and died
um,
in the penitentiary. And
shame on them. Shame
it
on them.
was it was not a good experience, but it was one of those where I said, listen, I got to shut down, boom, because this is just bad juju. Fiery Phoenix asked, if an owner of a pet passes, then the pet dies. Will the pet be with the owner in the afterlife?
Well, I would say yes, because I do readings on animals, and animals do have souls. They have feelings, they have love. Animals do have souls. So I would say yes. If they so choose. A lot of people think that if you're a newer soul, like we had talked about, and you pass, usually because you've only had 1 or 2 lifetimes, as an example, a loved one that you recognize, because you're going to be disorientated, where am I, will greet you. But otherwise, your spirit guide, if you're an older soul, your spirit guide, and they take you directly where you need to be. Let me go back to Moss Wings. Moss Wings, that question that you had, that you feel like they follow you for protection. So if you can see them, do you do readings? Because she said, I
Mosswing
have had
said I can.
several.
Yeah, she said I can sense them. It's not visual, but like a knowing. I think the word is claircognition.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we're like beacons sometimes. And like I said, sometimes I feel like I should drive a bus because of some of the ones that ride around with me. I don't know why, but they like traveling with me. We're kind of like a beacon. And there's a medium for everyone. So maybe, and of course, be very, very careful doing this. Try to reach out to each one. They might just have a message for you, or a message for somebody else that the person, the sitter that needs that message. But be very careful dealing with that. But we are like beacons. I went into this one store, and it was a spiritual shop, and I forget the girl's name I was with, but I felt it. And she hadn't unfolded yet, and she felt it. And then it rode to the car, in the car with us. She goes, "It's in the back seat, isn't it?" And I said, "Yep." And then we went into Trader Joe's, and there was this huge display of beer, like they stacked the bottles. And I just felt this breeze. And out of the corner of my eye, I just saw it swing. And then it all came crashing down. Did I feel it was bad? No, but it was being a little ornery. Absolutely. It destroyed their display, and I didn't even touch it. So just be careful. Always protect yourself, even if you feel it's good. Always test the waters, protect. But it seems like they want you to be their channel, meaning their messenger. So they want to use you. And what spirit works for me might not work for Paula, and vice versa. They choose you. They choose who they want to get the message. Like, all you guys are sitting there, and I want to tell you, pick the reader that you're drawn to, because there's a reason. There's a reason why you're resonating with that reader. Nothing against any other readers. Just be careful out there. It is a fact. There's a lady, her name's Rita. She's a demonologist out of northern Georgia. At least she was about 4 years ago. And I called her because I was looking for a demonologist in that area in Georgia. Not for me, for a medium. And this medium wasn't a newbie. She wasn't a newbie. And I'm going to hit 2 questions. She moved into an older home in Florida. And she sits there and she gives readings. And always keep your space always cleared. I don't care if you did it 5 minutes before. Do it again before any reading. Make sure your space is solid. Your windowsills, the doors, everything's so solid. She said most of her clients are readers. Most of her clients are psychics and mediums. It's a beautiful gift to have, but just because I have the gift doesn't mean I'm going to give everybody a reading. And I've turned down people because, like I said, some of them that are really bad leave a bad taste in my mouth. It's not a figment of speech. It actually happens. And So that's why I kind of check their aura, and and if they don't go through the steps that I want, or if they're just have a really bad attachment, not happening. Not happening.
What?
I will not
Yeah,
make myself sick. And we get physically and mentally sick. But
yeah.
her biggest was Rita said her most of her clients were readers because they get excited. Oh, I got my first vision or clear audio. I heard them, and they get all excited and they just start throwing readings out.
Yeah.
They haven't built up their protection, and that takes years and years and years. That takes years
And
and
it
years
is
and
a
years.
fine art to learn how to shield yourself and control the opening, control the flow of the information. And if something goes sideways, to shut everything down, in a heartbeat. We've got some
And you
more
better hope you
questions in
shut
the
it
chat.
down.
Oh, yeah. And
You better
we've
hope
got
you
some more
shut it down this
questions
time.
from
Uh-huh.
the chat. Speaking of guides, what are some ways we can get to know them? They try to meditate, but the brain won't shut down. And that's, a big modern problem. A lot of us can't flip that switch and turn the brain off to get it quiet enough to hear them.
I have that problem. I'm a huge multitasker. So, I cook, I write, I play tennis all at the same time. So, I'm really, really bad at meditation. Um, I only listen to one when I do listen to it. And this is just to help you. Or if you have a really busy schedule, a lot of kids, or you're working a lot of hours, and I always hear, oh, I don't have time. I get that. But you eventually have to sleep. And there is one meditation that I do listen to, and it is designed while you're sleeping. And I'll be more than happy to give that link to Paula if she wants to post it or not.
That would be great. I will post it.
Okay, yeah.
Any of the
It's
information from tonight's show, I will pin a comment under this live stream after it processes, and I'll put a post on my community tab on my YouTube page.
okay, thank
Stacy
you.
Roca asked, you said that you're a healer before a medium. Can you elaborate on what type of healer you are and how you keep those two things separate?
Okay, I'm an energy healer, and basically before I do a reading, I do a healing. Now, again, this is all for Marta. I'm checking you out. I'm doing the aura thing again. If I told you to go cleanse and you didn't, I'm gonna know it and I'm gonna shut it down. So basically the energy goes where it needs to go. It needs to go. Well, who was that? Who was that asked that
Stacy
question?
Roca. Stacy Roca.
Okay, let me move down to her. Basically it's energy, and all it's doing is really balancing what it goes to whatever area it needs. So let's say you're having a lower back problem or your knee or your neck. I'll send energy where you literally will feel it. It will come in as pressure, warmth, heat, tingling. Some people feel a breeze. And send the healing in. And that just kind of it's better than a Valium. Kind of relaxes you. A lot of people are nervous on a reading.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of relaxes them, eases up the tension. If you're having any pain, it kind
Mm-hmm.
of soothes that as well. It's just energy. That's all it
Right.
is. But it also helps me as a reader to get you to that level so that I can do the reading. And as I'm doing it, I do start picking up on things. But like I said, I'm so cautious. It's for you and it's for me. You have to
Right.
be safe for them. I'm just the messenger. But the healing, that's how I do mine. Paula does her different. All us readers are different. We're all like snowflakes. Me and Paula might receive the same thing, but as far as the message, but how we received it is going to be totally different.
Yeah,
We're
because
all different how we receive
a
it.
lot of people ask me, especially like, one of the things we do on Uber Goober's channel is missing people cases. And, I'll tune in to, that energy and that picture. And sometimes they'll show me a little movie, or they'll pull up a mat and then bring me to an area and then bring me further in, and they show me like a remote aerial view of what I'm looking at. Sometimes I'll smell something, sometimes I'll taste something. It all depends on that spirit and how they're trying to get the message through. And they, especially like with pictures that they're showing me, a lot of times they'll put it into a context that makes sense to my mind that would not make sense to anybody else. And it's kind of like you've got to figure out how you interpret things. Let's see here. Azrael7 says, I astral travel all the time, but I get freaked out when I notice I'm out of my body. Any tips on how to eliminate fear? I've tried everything. A good dose of fear while you are in the astral realm is not a bad thing. Okay. Freaking out is not necessarily a good thing. But, you know,
No, I had mentioned astro traveling. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but again, these um spirits that stay behind because they've done bad things, just be careful when you're doing it. Now, um, I don't know if you prepare prior to astral traveling. Do you have like a ritual you do before you astral travel, and do you have one after you come back? Because that fear, if you're doing it, to me, that fear in between, um, um, is telling me, if you can feel all those different vibrations and emotions, you are coming across some of those, because it is scary. I'm not saying it's
mhm,
not. I don't do it. I'm too chicken.
mhm.
Um, do I go outside my body? I would say yes, because sometimes you're frozen, you can't move. Some mornings when you wake up, I feel I've left my body, and um my soul didn't come all the way back in, and I woke up. So I'm kind of frozen, which is the worst
Yeah,
feeling ever. Ever, ever,
it
ever.
does.
I would
And
come up with,
Azrael
well,
just
like,
said, no, it just kind of happens. So going to
oh,
the
okay.
astral realm just
So,
kind of happens.
okay. So what I would do is, and that's with readings too, is I control what comes in. That's kind of like I pick and choose who I do a reading, just like we've been talking all this time. So what
Mhm.
I would do is I would come up with um, guidelines. Like, I have guidelines for my sitter before I even give the reading. It's my
Mhm.
reading guidelines. Those are for me and they're for the sitter. I have guidelines. So when you're astral traveling out there, like, I can basically control, the one or two spirits come in now. You're out there, you know, with a lot, with a lot.
Yeah.
So I would come up with something that suits you for astral traveling. And I would do a little more homework on astral traveling, because you're leaving yourself wide open. To me,
Yeah. Because what I
you're leaving
do
yourself.
is, yeah, I
Yeah.
keep like, I sleep with black tourmaline like underneath my pillow. And that helps like shielding me from any negative energy. And the crystal carries over with me. But
Mm.
some people, when you get in that really deep sleep state, you can separate and head out there to the astral realm, and it can be very, very frightening, especially the like when your spirit comes back into your body, and then all of a sudden you feel like you weigh 3 tons because of that oomph of it coming right back into your body like that. It can be really scary. Jin
I
Jenny
would do,
asks,
yeah, I would do more homework. If you're just doing it and not intentionally doing it, one, I guess the question would be, do you still want to do it? That's
hmm
number one. Uh, Two, if you do, really, really do your homework. I think if I started to do it, I would be in one of those little individual space capsules. That's my protection.
I
That's
have
what I
my
would
bubble.
envision.
I fly in a bubble. And,
Yeah, and I,
I do, if you're a magical practitioner, I cast a circle around my house, my bedroom, every night before I go to bed. I cast a circle of protection. I have protective amulets on around my bed, the whole 9 yards. And um, it's really important. I often imagine that I put on a suit of armor when I get up in the morning as like my protection. It's like my divine light about me. Um, Mary R says she sleeps with black tourmaline by her
yeah,
bedside along with selenite, and it does help. So, you can try crystals to help keep you grounded and help keep negative energies away from you if you do separate. So that would be some of mine. But the thing of it is a lot of times your abilities, any innate abilities, your ability to astral travel, your abilities as a magical practitioner are individual experiences. So not everything is going to work the same way for everyone. It's your own little kind of story, and it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out the best way for yourself. So, knowledge is one of the most powerful weapons that you have. So, like Marta said, research everything. We've got
yeah,
another question
yeah.
from Jin Jenny, and this kind of goes along
Mary,
what we've
use
been
what
doing.
some gems.
All right, you just roboted again. There we are.
Mary,
You're
use
back.
whatever. Oh, okay, Mary, use whatever stones and gems that resonate with you.
Yeah,
Just, you know, like I
yeah.
use the dark, dark garnets. That's my protection.
Mm-hmm.
The black tourmaline is beautiful. It's great, but I like the garnet, the dark,
Mm-hmm.
dark red garnet.
Yeah,
That works
it's
for me,
all
but that's my
individual.
birthstone
Mm-hmm.
too. Yeah, so um,
Jin Jenny asked,
absolutely.
how can one purge and cleanse from attachments and then shield? And again, that one has a lot of um, different factors, like what type of attachment is it? Are you talking about just a regular spiritual attachment? Is an attachment where another, like a magical practitioner, is sapping off your energy? Is another psychic sapping off your energy? Is it, what most people would call a demonic attachment? Could it be, sludge or a, parasite kind of thing? It's all very situational. And I have videos on this channel and on my channel on Bull Run Paranormal, where I have the 13, paranormal herbs for protection and clearing, the 13 paranormal gemstones for protection and clearing, that are my 13 favorite ones. I've also got videos on how to cleanse your home and clear attachments. But there are some, like years ago, Marta actually had a magical practitioner trying to sap into her aura, and I helped cut the cord for it, because from a magical perspective, I was able to do that because another magical practitioner had targeted Marta and her abilities. Um, and what did she say? Just asked, are there positive attachments or is it all bad?
Both the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Um, I attended this little spiritual church in Las Vegas and I was running late, so I came in and usually I was on time. So I would walk around all the seating, and even though there's only a handful of people, I just knew where to sit or not because I could see actually souls sitting in those chairs where people thought they were empty there. But I just came running in and I plopped down, just plopped
Mm-hmm.
down. And I don't do that. This church is cleansed all the time. Great reverends there. And we were in the healing portion of the service. And, my head's down and I'm listening to the music and all of a sudden I open my eyes. And I had this is what I saw. Male tennis shoes about a size 12 on my feet. And I'm thinking I plopped down in the wrong chair because he attached
Mm-hmm.
myself. He attached himself to me. And like again, but after church, I was out front and this guy had to be like 6'3", 6'4". He was 22 years old, approximate. He had died in a motorcycle accident nearby, and he was drawn to the energy in the church, and that's how we connected, literally. But I was walking up and down the sidewalk, and I had the stride of a male that was 6'3", 6'4". Tall. Did he mean
Mm-hmm.
any harm? Absolutely not. He just found a safe haven there. So there's your
Mm-hmm.
good. I know Paula has experienced, well, and like I said, that lady I talked to and she's talking about her husband and his gift unfolding, that was bad. And that was attached to him. But I
Mm-hmm.
have seen good attached. But you got to remember too, them not crossing over some of their health factors of when they were alive.
Mm-hmm.
If they attach to you, you can come up with the same health issues.
I will
I gave
say
you
that,
reading.
I I had an instance many years ago because I live in a town where there were two battles in the Civil War, and I was doing an impression of a widow of one of the soldiers that is buried in the cemetery in our downtown area. They have a little area roped off for in the Confederate cemetery. And the soldier's grave had been desecrated back in the 80s, and they stole his bones, and they never did find who desecrated the grave. So it's one of the, kind of unsolved mysteries in my town. And I did an impression of his widow. I mean, I was in full widow's weaves. It was like a Halloween ghost walk that they do downtown, stuff like that. And I did such a good job portraying his wife that he decided to follow me home. And then the next morning, I got up. I could hardly breathe. I had lost complete use of my right arm. I mean, I was in agonizing pain. And then what I remembered, I was on the phone talking about it with my sister, who is a nurse. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, blah, blah, blah. Thing of it is when he was in the Civil War, he was shot through the shoulder and had his shoulder shattered, and also shot through a lung, and one of his lungs collapsed. So he only had half breathing capacity. And he made me feel what he felt from the time that he, was wounded in the Civil War until the time he died. And I had to send him on his merry little way and send him back to the cemetery, and give him a spiritual smack on the ass and say, don't ever do that shit again. But in my thought process of dressing up in the widow's weeds and everything, I didn't think about shielding myself and having my, you know, non period correct attach, talismans and medals of protection that I normally would wear when I was doing um, paranormal stuff. I had taken all that off because it wasn't period correct to portray a Civil War widow. So, yeah, they can absolutely make you feel what they were feeling in their life, their death state, and everything else. So, it is really amazing what spirit can do. But I was like this shiny little beacon there in the cemetery for him, and was a dumbass and didn't shield myself. So, um, you know, let's see. Asriel just said, I found myself not being able to eat meat because it makes me feel sick, like it lowers their vibration. Has anyone else experienced that?
I
I
haven't,
personally haven't. I
but
personally have.
I'm not going to say it can't happen.
Right.
I can't, but I can't say that, it can't happen. Like, again, we're back to everybody is
Right.
different.
Right.
Um, so go with what your body's telling you.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you eat meat at all? Or does this just happen prior to giving a reading? Let's say you had meat the night before and you're noticing that the connection isn't that strong.
I think it's like just in general can't eat red meat at all,
Okay, because you
is what
can't
they
make a
say.
strong connection. She
Yeah.
can't make a
Yeah.
strong connection. Okay, absolutely. Again, we're back to everybody's different and there's a reason.
Yep.
So, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
never happened to me.
Yeah. And it's I have noticed over the years I am less tolerant for certain things um than I was before, but I'm a lot more in tune to my own personal vibrational level now than I was 20 years ago. Um, because 20 years ago, I had not embraced my gifts fully. So the more, kind of like self aware sometimes you are, things change over the years, and it's just everybody's, you know, path is personal and there's a lot of different factors that figure into everything. We've been on here for about an hour. So, Marta, if people would like to get a reading from you, how do they get
Mhm.
in touch with you? Whether, a reading, a healing, whatever, how do they get in touch with you to schedule something with you?
I'll give you my email, or you can contact me on Facebook under Marta Hammond Lynn, which Paula has that, and she can post that too. And then
Hmm.
my email, of course. Just
What is
remember
your
on the email, put Witch's Cauldron in your subject so I know that you are at the show.
what's your email,
Because I get a
Marta?
lot of junk mail. Huh?
Yeah. What's your email?
Oh, it's Orca, ORCA, last name, excuse me, Nick, LYNN, the number one at gmail.com. Orca was my cat's name. So
I was going to say, good old Orca.
I
Um,
know, boo.
Marta lost Orca not long ago, so been her
Yeah, I
kitty
had him.
cat for many, many years.
Mm,
Um,
had him for a
so yeah,
long time.
yeah. So make sure in the subject line put witch's cauldron reading, something like that to bring it to. Um, Let me see if I can find your page real quick here on Facebook. Well, it would
Or
help if I like
healing.
pulled up. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to say, and healings as well. Um, Hold on here. Let me tell you what, guys, I will post a link. I will pin a comment at the bottom of this video after the video
Mhm.
processes, and I will make sure that I get all this stuff from Marta and post everything that we need to. And oh, here we are. Hold on a second. Eh,
Mm.
I have too many windows and tabs open on my computer. That's what the big problem is.
Feel free to
But yeah,
contact me if you have more questions. Um, feel free to contact me at either one on Facebook, which is Marta Hammond Lynn. I'm the only one on there, Marta Hammond Lynn. And again, just say you're from the Witch's Cauldron, and
hmm,
then of course orcalyn1 at gmail.com, and put the Witch's Cauldron in the subject field. But
hold on
yeah, if you
just
have
a
any more
second.
questions, I will
Here we
give
are.
Paula the link to that meditation that I listened to. Now, to me, it's more of a hypnosis meditation. I'm a master hypnotherapist. It's kind of like in with the good, out with the bad, kind of clears your mind. Um, where you wake up
Now,
in the
since
morning
you're,
and you just feel good.
yeah. Now, do you do like past life regressions or anything like that with people since you're a hypnotherapist?
I do past life regressions. That's a process. I mean, I love doing them. And sometimes if I'm just giving you a regular reading, a past life will come in.
Right.
If it's really, really knocking. And what's important with that basically that message is telling me what you need to work on in this lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly.
those are
So,
great. I like doing the past regression. That's a whole different ball game, but it's kind of like I receive messages during the hypnotherapy, and we can do that online or on the phone.
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Everybody is saying thank you so much, Marta, for being on here and
You're
sharing
very
your
welcome.
knowledge and your wisdom. Guys, again, I just dropped the link to Marta's Facebook page. Um, and I will, I dropped her email in the chat earlier, but I will pin a comment for that meditation and all of her contact information and stuff like that when we leave here. And I will also post it on the community tab on my channel. So, and if you want to hit me up on Twitter, I am at the witch's call and the number 1. Uber just dropped it in the chat. You can send me a DM. My DM's open. My Twitter account is open. And if you need to get in contact with Marta, I can then be an intermediary and put you in contact with her. Okay. So, everybody, thank you so much for coming in. Marta, thank you so much. Everyone is sending you lots of love in the chat and thanking you. Everyone, stay tuned for more live streams to come here on the channel. And do you have any parting words for folks, Marta?
Um, I hope we answered everybody's question. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight. I love what I do. And just be patient if you're trying to unfold your gifts. The hardest thing for a reader is trusting themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But just because you get a gift doesn't mean you jump right in there, because that's when you know you're going to be calling Rita, the demonologist. Just be
I can think
patient
of
with your
somebody
gift.
I can think of somebody right now that we both know that did not listen to any of the
Mhm.
protection stuff that we told them, and she's a hot freaking mess now. So just
Yeah,
be that,
absolutely. Oh,
and
just be careful.
everyone be careful, be safe, love one another, and as I always say, Merry we did meet, merry we will part until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night.
All right.